You were talking about earlier that you spent your years down in South America. Now, do you think of having to go from here in the beginning of your ministry to going down there for so long to then coming back up here? What's like the biggest misconceptions, like especially here in New England, misconceptions, if anything, that we have about the church down there, that it seems some maybe even comical?
Not all the food down there is hot. When I was here at St. Mary's, there's the majority of the people in the Hispanic population are Puerto Ricans. Mm-hmm. And there's some other people moving in, but they're the majority. When I was up in the Berkshires, there's Mexicans, Colombians, Peruvians, people from the Caribbean, Guatemalans, Salvadorans. There was just people from all different countries, and we have this misconception: oh, they're the Spanish; they speak Spanish, but they're from different countries, and they have very different cultures, and their idea of church can be very different too when it's going from country to country. And so, Peru, it's got a very vibrant church. People are very proud of theirs. It's probably one of the most Catholic countries in South America. And the church attendance isn't that great, but people are very, very proud to be Catholic. It's about 85% Catholic. And it's the comparison right next door is Chile, which is still predominantly Catholic, but hardly anybody goes to church.
Okay, that's interesting.
Really not a lot of enthusiasm for the church in Chile. In Peru, the church is still very respected. And there's just an incredible enthusiasm down there, which was wonderful.
Yeah, the one thing I like is that I see that I've just learned being 44 years old and just seeing the church and everything. One of the things I love about being Catholic is the fact of, because a lot of times we get painted as certain, like you were talking about, certain ways, and I love being involved with Hispanic ministry, even though. A lot of my friends Puerto Rican, they mess with me because they know I can't speak more than 5 words of Spanish. They'll have to mess with me once in a while. But just exactly the variety of it. I have, members of my family who were Protestant and stuff, and they think of they've thought in some ways of Catholics being this staunch one way ways, and then seen images of how you were talking about how church is different in other parts of the country. I'm like, oh, seriously, that's the Catholic Church. I'm like, but that's how it is in South America, or this is how it is in I'm trying to think of other places, and how different it is in Africa, and how culture-wise is infused with the church and how it changes. I mean, we're just staunch New Englanders. I mean, how we're just you look at someone the wrong way in New England. It's
New Englanders are they're God's frozen people.
This is true, and we get hot for about 2 months of the year. Now, what's the biggest difference of serving a parish, ministering to a parish up here in New England versus a parish down there in South America?
In many ways, it was pretty much the same, which was very comforting. Parish life is parish life, and it's like the same cast of characters. It was a very different culture, but the same things were going on in the parish. Let's see. It was very striking. It felt so comfortable, and it's people. You get parents I brought my kids right through school, make sure they went to their religious ed classes, and still they're not coming to church. And we're having a meeting with we had about 50 something catechists down there, and we're meeting with the ones for confirmation. Father, we're gonna have I think we had 150 kids for confirmation. But Father, how many we're gonna see on the Sunday after?
How many are gonna treat it as graduation?
Exactly. But there's a really good core of volunteers in any parish. There's some people, no matter what you need, they'll be right there. Different committees. The similarities were striking, and it was really very comfortable. The language was different, but the life and rhythm of a parish is very much the same. Now, where I was, it was a parish that was on second shift. We were on the edge of the city. There was in a valley 3 miles by 6 miles. In the valley, there was 150,000 people, and we had probably 100,000 Catholics. They all didn't come to church though. So this huge parish, but daily mass would be at 7 o'clock at night because people would get up at 5 in the morning for a 3-hour commute. And then they'd come back in and they'd get back in like 7, 8 o'clock at night. And so everything took place at night. Mass would be at 7, the parish office opened at 4. We do meetings and have appointments after 8 o'clock to midnight. And the amazing thing was how people came and how faithful they were. Sometimes they'd be late. The traffic down there is just absolutely horrible. And to getting to where we were, the traffic was incredible. But still, people would come. And their dedication was, it just amazed me. And their enthusiasm. Working all day, commuting an hour and a half, 2 hours one way, coming home, getting food ready for your kids, and then they'd still show up for a meeting.
It's like still working outside of Boston. That sounds like my.
Oh no, it's not. Much worse. Much worse.
I like the 7 o'clock daily mass, 7 o'clock at night daily mass. I take that over going really early in the morning sometimes.
Yes. Jesus had the Last Supper. He didn't have the last breakfast.
Last breakfast. I always love that joke. I mean, it's a standard old Catholic joke, but it's so true.
Yep.